was pregnant with my son, closer to my delivery, I moved to my parents' home back in India. By this time, I had completely given up on my looks and overall appearance due to weight gain as a result of my pregnancy. One day, as I was preparing to go out with my father to order some tailor-made clothes for my oversized body, I nearly went out in a scruffy outfit, which made him very upset. So here's what he said to me. If you would expect a tailor to stitch a well-fitted outfit for you, you must appear in your best one when you visit them for measurement. Otherwise, the impression that you would give them is that you are happy to settle for less. My son is now 9 years old, but the impact those words had on me is for a lifetime. The way I had looked during my pregnancy was because of two main reasons. Firstly, my unborn child took precedence over everything else in my life. And secondly, I had given up on the idea that I would ever be able to get back in shape again. So basically, the importance of my self-worth became too little for me during that time. You know, I find it really interesting to see how easily we get complacent with our own appearance as soon as our tangible purposes are fulfilled. In my case, it was to identify a suitable biological father for my precious child in the future. But on a more serious note, if you think about it, do we get complacent with the aesthetics of our homes or health and happiness of our loved ones? Of course not. So then, when it comes to the aesthetics of our looks, that is the way we present ourselves in the society, why do we tend to compromise sometimes? Through the lenses of a recruitment consultant, I am used to seeing people well-dressed for job interviews and presentations all the time. And I am no different from them. But for that matter, we all dress well for special occasions, such as a date, social gathering, business meet, or weight loss for many of us. These I call tangible purposes. But as a mother and a wife in our busy lives, I also know a lot of people, just like me, who tend to put other needs before their own, and perhaps do not even have the time to comprehend how beneficial it is to look good every single day, as opposed to only on special occasions. Dressing up every day may appear pointless and silly if we have nowhere to go or no objective to meet. But you see, as a society, we are like rack of books in a library, nicely tucked in next to each other, with millions of interesting and diverse stories happening all around us at once, totally oblivious. Yet there is something common among all of us, and that is each one of us wants to be heard. Each one of us is a protagonist of our own constantly unfolding stories. And given we have so much to show and tell, imagine how much would the world miss out on us if we are not in the right cover. So, being the protagonist of your own story, I believe it's only a wise attempt to display the best version of yourself, no matter what may lay ahead of you or not. By shifting emphasis from our conditioned belief of associating the importance of looking good with only tangible purposes, if we rather make it a lifestyle choice or a more regular practice, it will bear a great importance in shaping the way we want to feel about us and the story we want the world to know about us. Looking good helps us stand tall, strong, and empowered. It hides our vulnerability, commands respect. People tend to listen to us more because it makes us more dependable. And above all, it encourages us to stay fit. But even though we are acutely aware of the benefits of this practice, doing it every day, I believe, is a big shift, or perhaps a challenge many of us struggle with. You may think that I have plenty more to worry about than what I look like right now or every day. Plus, our emotions are a bit like English weather, if I may say. Sometimes it could be bright and welcoming, while other times it could be dull and depressing. But what we need to remember is that even the worst weather comes with a brand new morning. So, despite of how you feel inside, you must try and dress the way you want to be addressed. When your friend dragged you out of the house and told you, get dressed up, you will feel better. After your last breakup or a failed interview or simply a lousy day, they were onto something. Our body has the power to control our mind, just the way our mind can control our body. I would like to share with you a few of my observations today, which hopefully will be able to rouse your subconscious mind about how our appearance, if misleading, can easily defeat our talent and overall personality. First of all, our choices of clothes and overall appearance tells a story about us. And that's why they say you must dress the way you want to be addressed. Let me put it in perspective. Clinical psychologist Dr. Jennifer Baumgartner wrote a book called You Are What You Wear, What Your Clothes Reveal About You. This is based on a phenomenon which she calls the psychology of dress. So for instance, if you live in a mom outfit of hoodie and jeans, it means that you may put the needs of your family before your own. And while there is nothing wrong in it, you may want to consider giving yourself a more individualistic, a more refreshing look to prevent from getting typecasted. I further extend this phenomenon to your overall appearance, starting from your personal hygiene all the way to an appropriate haircut. Why not? I call it the psychology of appearance. Because if mom is not happy, no one is. So let me ask you all a question from the same book. How many of you wear only neutrals or dress neutrally, largely devoid of accessories? Anyone? I can see a few hands in the air. So what does it mean? Turns out you are stuck in a psychological rut. Too comfortable sometimes to shake it all up, or too afraid to draw attention to yourself. What can you do differently? For starters, consider deviating from your routines in small ways. How about pick up that series on telly, which you thought you would never watch? Or perhaps buy some transitional clothes and accessories, which you can wear on multiple occasions, yet making a new statement every single time. My point is that we all have fears, but they are acquired. So don't let it pull you back or define you. Now, many of you may actually argue that it's unfair to judge people based on their outer cover, and that each one of us is blessed with some or the other form of talent, with access to all the right resources to get us noticed. Surely we do. And I'm totally on board with it. The harsh reality of our life, unfortunately, is that a person covered in tattoos may be an angel in disguise. But when it comes to asking for direction, it is our natural tendency to approach someone who is well-dressed and looking good, even though both these people may equally stand out in a crowd. Now picture this. On your usual route to school drop, college, work, or simply shopping, I bet that you come across some familiar faces who you do not know in real life, but they cross your path nearly every day. I call them familiar strangers. You may not realize it, but based on the pattern of looks you wear, they form a snap judgment about your personality and profession in milliseconds, based on instinctive responses in their brain's emotion processing center, the amygdala. Right or wrong, we can't say, but it holds the same about them through your eyes. The reason it is worth mentioning is because our visual appearance plays a critical part in shaping our social interaction. In other words, it's a bit like our facial expression, even when no one is looking. I read it in an article in which Judson Bong, an impression management consultant, rightly points out that people tend to distrust someone who's dominant face is habitual, grumpy, and angry. And then suddenly switching on that downbeat expression to a 1,000-watt smile just because someone is looking is likely to undermine trust even more. You may be a strategic parent, not just behind beautiful home and healthy and happy children, but maybe also an entrepreneur, driving important decisions of a thriving business and dealing with sophisticated people, day in and out. But imagine, it may take a while for this familiar stranger to join the dots about you, and vice versa, if the impression isn't right, however unintentional it is. Successful people are so not just because they are talented, but also because they are well-groomed, and right appearance is a result of essential grooming therapy, much needed by each one of us, regardless of who we are. But having said all of that, what is also worthy of your attention and essentially crucial is that while it is beneficial to look good every single day, the approach towards this practice must also be organic and in line with your core values. Because in pursuit of a right appearance, I condemn the ballyhoo of vigorous diets or to go under the knife to fit into a 36-24-36 myth of a perfect woman. Comparably, Wolverine-trained biceps of Hugh Jackman or Ryan Gosling's shredded torso, in my eyes, are far from the image of a perfect man. Many young adults, just like yourself, are still very impressionable. Instead, my idea is more inclusive. I believe that looks do not matter, but looking good every day certainly does. And I feel this way partly because of my own unconventional looks. Because I see there is a change in pattern, such as parts of our society are rapidly evolving from their biases towards stereotypical conventional looks of women and men, thereby making it a more homogeneous environment for everyone to settle in. And this change in pattern, I feel, is a testimony to the fact that unconventional looks could be a rising potential future. Among the latest, I am a huge admirer of Iskra Lawrence for the way she flaunts her beautiful curves. And if you think that I am trying to be sanctimonious about my views here, let me remind you that being a successful model does not take away from the fact that she comes from a humble background, just like yours and mine. The fact that she preserves, celebrates, and appreciates her uniqueness not just makes her a trendsetter, but essentially a face of infinite possibilities and opportunities in the future. So instead of constantly scrutinizing about how closely you resemble to the mythical man or woman you see on those magazine covers, why not identify a more plausible, a more healthier way to make you look the best version of yourself? By virtue of an accessible and affordable range of products and services available in the market now than ever before, one cannot deny that there are unique solutions out there to suit all body types and skin tones. For instance, there are many high street retail brands these days offer free online style inspirations. All you have to do is register some key information about your wardrobe, lifestyle, body shape, just to help them form an image of you. And with that information, they assign a fully qualified styling assistant who would create mood boards of clothes, accessories, and different looks, keeping you in mind and not just blindly follow a trend. While it gives you a holistic view of exciting new looks, which you can imbibe in your day-to-day life, the good news is that these services are absolutely non-obligatory, which means that you may choose to buy similar mix and match of clothes and accessories from any other store of your choice. Therefore, there is no need to feel under pressure to fit into a standard frame. Once I read a very well-written line, which said the more we find a commonality between our character and our outfits, it will shift emphasis from hiding our perceived figure challenges and spotlighting on our personality as a unique asset. Because hey, no one is looking for a clone. So coming back to me, Did I finally manage to lose weight after all these years? Well, that's kind of besides the point. What I have learned is that looking good is all about dressing like a successful person, whether or not I am in what is perceived as shape. It's a powerful demeanor of self-awareness, naturally evoking my strength as my story, even when no one is looking, so that when they do, they are compelled to lend an ear. The moral of my story is that a tailor is a metaphor of endless opportunities and limitless possibilities, waiting for our attention while we are too busy playing a peripheral character in someone else's life. Taking the time to look good every day is an essential reminder to live life in every moment, and has the power to unleash the protagonist within you, who need not seek out, but can create or define their own opportunities. So I leave you to think, what does looking good mean to you? Is it a momentary attempt to impress a situation or to fit into someone else's story? Or is it an expression of self-love and realization that you are well equipped within you to create your own entourage? Thank you.